Dan Hooker comments on his next fight against Mateusz Gamrot, explains what the matchup means for him, what's at stake, and breaks down some technical aspects. The Hangman is set to clash with Gamrot on UFC 305. On the same card as his teammates, Israel Adesanya and Kai Kara France are fighting on. Dan is currently on a 2-fight winning streak with victories over Claudio Puelles and Jalen Turner, and as he's returned to formidable form and gained some solid momentum in the division, the Kiwi is looking to be put in title contention with a win over a dangerous and elite Mateusz Gamrot. Gamrot's UFC career has been impressive. Out of the 9 fights he's had in the company, he's only lost 2, both decisions, in closely contested bouts. His resume includes wins over names like Arman Tsarukyan and Rafael Fiziev. And with a win over Dan Hooker, the Polish lightweight would be put on a track to contend for the division title. So, this matchup definitely holds high stakes for both participants. In his latest interview, Dan Hooker commented on the fight, saying the following, quote, "People tell me, oh, you need to be confident walking into the fight. You need to be locked in." And it's like, listen, first of all, you've never had a fight in your life. And second, I don't need to be confident right now, tomorrow, or during the walkout to the fight. But when I touch gloves with Gamrot or the bell rings for round 1, I will be unwaveringly confident that I'm getting my hand raised. Through experience, you learn that. We know he's gonna wrestle. Do you think he's gonna stand there and strike with me? That would be a terrible idea. I operate at a distance that he doesn't understand. I feel like this fight can go one of 2 ways. It's like the best case scenario and the worst case scenario for me. It's either he just doesn't have the tools to cover the distance between me and him, starts to panic from range as I'm picking him up and looks silly, or the worst case scenario for me, he grabs a hold of me for 2.5 rounds, and I look at the clock and see 2 minutes on the clock and I just slide all my chips on the table and I go, fuck it, and try to punch a hole in his face. He doesn't even want the worst case scenario, end quote. Drickus du Plessis previews the upcoming fight against Israel Adesanya. As UFC 305 gets closer, the heated rivalry between DDP and Izzy keeps rising in temperature. Both fighters don't try to mask the hatred they have toward each other, and with the media obligations intensifying during the fight week, constant shots are being fired from both directions. And the topic of discussion is most often character and personality, something which none of them hold in high regard about the other. The beef will be resolved, though, at least in the sports context, on August 17th in Perth, Australia. In his most recent interview, the middleweight champion, Drickus, shared his thoughts on the matchup, commented on his feud with Adesanya, and broke down the fight. Quote, "I couldn't feel any better. I'm ready to go. It's great that the time has finally come. I think that when you look into your opponent's eyes before the fight, it's almost like a fight before the fight. It's always intense, and I think that stare down we had, it was a perfect showcase. You can almost see exactly with what intensity he's going to come into this fight. I believe that those weigh-ins, face-offs and stuff, in a lot of cases, it sets the pace for the fight." When the reporter asked him about the racial undertones of the trash talk he and Israel have had during the build-up for this fight, Drickus said the following, quote, "I honestly don't think that it was started when I made comments about being an African fighter. I think those comments were very just. I think where it came from is what he screamed into the mic that time. That's where it came from. Those were the racial undertones. Am I the first residing African champion? Absolutely. I can't even understand how race even became a part of this discussion. It makes zero sense. It was all from his side, as he didn't conduct himself not only like a champion, but like anybody should, in front of the whole world," end quote. In regards to the fight itself and what he thinks will be his advantage over Israel in the fight, DDP said the following, quote, "I think my advantage is the pure dog in me. I believe that if you score us in grappling, kicking, wrestling, striking, anything, if you score us exactly the same, it's just the pure dog in me. My heart and my desire to be the greatest is what's going to separate us. Like in a lot of my other fights, the fact that I want it more and I'm always willing to die out there in the cage," end quote. Dana White makes interesting comments about the Israel Adesanya versus Drickus du Plessis fight by expressing concern, but immediately correcting himself as a form of reassurance. Dana also comments on signing a fighter from Last Contender Series, despite noticing some problems in his performance. Bruno survived a first-round knockdown and some big shots from his opponent. But as the momentum of the bout started shifting, Lopes attacked the body, causing the fatigued light heavyweight to clutch at his midsection and back up into the fence, where the Brazilian continued to attack until referee Herb Dean stepped in to stop the action. Dana commented on signing Lopez after this, saying the following, quote, "I literally said to both matchmakers, Sean and Mick, I said, this guy wants to quit right now. Make him quit. As soon as I said it, he hit him with the knee to the body and started going to his body. And I was like, all right, he did it. He's got a good story. Now he's 13-1. If not now, it's never for this kid. So I gave him a shot. He's got to get back in the gym and work on some stuff. He's got to work on his conditioning and definitely needs to get more killer instinct. These are all killers here." End quote. When discussing the anticipated UFC 305 headliner, Plessis versus Adesanya, Dana didn't hide his enthusiasm, but expressed worry about the fight possibly not working out in a manner desired by fans and the company. "Every time guys hate each other like this, the fight usually ends up sucking," said Dana, with the last time two fighters dislike each other and what it resulted in still playing in the back of his mind. Not only the fight became a disappointment in its entertainment value for the fans, the whole fight week before the fight between Mokaev and Cap resulted in Mokaev getting cut from the UFC. Dana quickly reassured himself, however, saying, "But I have a good feeling about this one." Dana then turned on his promoter mode and shared thoughts on the matchup, saying the following, quote, "If you look at what Israel Adesanya has achieved in his life, not just here in kickboxing too, and Drakkar brings it, man, he comes. And if he can beat Izzy and bring that belt to South Africa, we'll do an event here. And if Izzy regains his title, it's huge for him and his legacy." End quote. Alexander Volkanovski talks state of things, shares how he changed his approach in between fights, and opens up on his new mentality. The Aussie former featherweight champion last fought in February when he lost his title to Ilia Topuria, suffering a knockout in the second round. Having lost the second fight in a row by a knockout, Alex decided to take time off competition and plan his future in the sport, as at 35 years old and just losing the division belt, he was put into a difficult situation with some important decisions to make in regards to his next move. He decided that getting back to the title as soon as possible is his priority now, so no retirement in sight. In his latest interview, while speaking with the guys from Submission Radio, Alex talked about his situation and intentions, saying the following, quote, "Even when Conor and Chandler fight fell through, when I heard that, I was like, hey, do you need a guy to replace him? And bang, all of a sudden I want to spar, do the meat grinders, the spiders, and all the stuff. So I know that I can easily flip the switch on and off. Now I'm in a very good position. I won't let myself get vulnerable like I did before. Right now I'm eager to fight, but I'm probably gonna have to wait. But I stay in good shape because you never know, because short notice stuff can come up. Last time, in that situation, I wasn't the guy that I usually am because I wasn't in the gym, I wasn't in good form, but from this point on, I will be. So if an opportunity comes up like that, and it's the right fight, I'll be in a good shape, and I'm gonna hold myself to that. So if something pops up, you never know. If not, I'll fight whenever. And people are gonna be like, so you didn't learn your lesson from the last fight? But no, that's just the kind of fighter that I've always been. That's what made me what I am. That mentality and mindset to take on anything is what brought me where I am. If I wasn't the guy that wouldn't take a short notice, fight off the couch, and wouldn't challenge myself like that, I wouldn't be where I am. So I'm okay with that. I'm just gonna make sure I'm in a better position next time it happens." End quote. Thanks for watching. Until next time.